Hello everyone, my name is Mr. T and I run the Building Dreams After School program. Today's activity, we're going to be assembling a octopus model. Now this model was quite tricky to build and trying to think of how the actual body and head goes together. It was a bit of a challenge, but I hope you kids really enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get started. Now for today's model, it's going to be a little bit kind of a peculiar setup. With it being an octopus, I had to think very creatively on how to get this thing to assemble. So the first piece that you're going to need is going to be the largest headpiece. So the largest headpiece will look something like this. It will have a big light bulb shape on one end with a rectangular slot right here. And then it'll also have this kind of end or stub that comes off of the lower section. Go ahead and look at all your headpieces that you have on your cardboard. There should actually be 5 in total. This is actually going to be the center headpiece. Everything else will be attached to this. We also need to look for a very unique piece. If you take a look at your board, it will look like this little piece right here. Now the way that this is going to work is this top little stub that's right here needs to face towards the front of the head, and as we're holding this head, this direction is actually the front. So go ahead and poke out this little rectangle piece on the head, and then this piece right here needs to face towards the front. We are going to go ahead and insert that right into the center. And if we take a look at it from the top view, it should be even on the left and the right side. And that's our first step right there, so let's go ahead and continue. Now there's a bunch of other extra pieces on here. If we take a look at the 4 remaining pieces, the 2 major pieces that are different is one has eyes actually physically cut out and ones don't. We want the ones that don't have eyes cut out yet. It'll look kind of like a leg or a thigh and a kneecap with a shin. This shaped piece is actually meant for the eye socket, so go ahead and pop these 2 out right here. So we have 1 and 2, and again these pieces will go on the left and the right side of what we already have. Now you'll need to support this center insert right here, that way we don't accidentally push it through. And as we continue to assemble this, there will be a slight space between it all that will look like that right there. That's perfectly fine. The octopus's head is meant to be kind of a abnormal shape across the front. That's just the nature of what it looks like. So we have our 4 pieces assembled so far. Go ahead and pop out now the ones right here and here. They will also have slots for the eyes, which you can poke out as well. Will look like this piece right here, and there should be 2 of these. Go ahead and insert 1 onto the left and 1 onto the right. Now if we take a look at our octopus head, it's actually really starting to come together. We want to make sure that it's relatively even across the bottom with everything centered. The next 2 pieces that we want look kind of like golf clubs. If you go ahead and look for these pieces right here, if we take a look at the side, we want the golf club piece. And this piece right here will be pointing down right underneath the eye. Go ahead and do that on the other side as well. Just like that. So we have this piece on again. This little nub should be right underneath the eye right here. You can give it a little bit of a squeeze right in the middle. We want to make sure that these notches right here and right here are exposed. We have the last 2 pieces for the head, and this will actually keep everything locked together. So you should be able to find these kind of question mark shaped pieces. There should be 2 of them. They are located right here and here. Go ahead and pop those out. And the way that this is going to work, if we hold our head facing this way, The long section will be underneath, and this notch will slide into the notch right behind there, and it will slide forward, locking the head all together just like that. I'm going to face the front this way now, and again, you may need to squeeze the head together, that way this little notch right here is exposed. Put this upside down with this facing towards the bottom. Line that up at the back of the head. Give it a squeeze and slide it forward. And as you take a look at our octopus head, while it does have kind of a funny shape, this is actually kind of what an octopus head really looks like. It should actually hold together with this kind of nub located right here. The head itself is fully assembled, but there still is one more piece that we need. We want to find a circular piece that has 8 notches cut on the circumference of the circle, as well as a rectangular cut right in the middle. Once you find this piece, go ahead and poke out the center rectangle, and the neck notch actually slides right down into that piece. It may be a little tricky getting in there, but it should slide all the way up. If you want to think of it kind of like the collar of a shirt, if we take a look at the bottom, just like that, look at it from the front, the sides, all these notches should be exposed. Now the way that this is going to work is all of our tentacles, or the octopus's arms, will actually attach to each one of these notches. So once you have it this far and the head is actually together, you can take a moment to actually paint this if you wanted to paint it. In general, the model itself holds together pretty well. If you need to use a little bit of glue, if you have some younger students that are struggling just a little bit, this could be a good time just to make sure that these outer 2 lock-in pieces are really attached. But in general, this piece actually holds together really well. So once you have this part, all that's left is to poke out the 8 tentacle arms, which we'll do now. And depending upon how the student wants to do this, any of the arms can actually be attached anywhere. It gives the students an opportunity to kind of design their own, and it can be kind of a way or a method that students can, make theirs look unique. Obviously, you may need to adjust the head onto the neck portion, just because there are some sections that are pretty close to the arms. You may just need to make a small adjustment. That way, the front one, the very front and the very back will stay locked in. And this is really the only spot that any of the students may need any glue, like this one right here on the very back, or the one on the very front. I'm going to continue to push out my tentacles, and again, like I said, for those that front one and that back one, they may be a little bit tricky. If you have some paint, it may hold it slightly better into place, but if you just raise everything up, it should actually stay into place no problem, just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and assemble mine upside down. Just for me, it seems a little bit easier. However, it's not required. I just like to be able to see what I'm doing. So I have a 3 attached. 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Once you have all 8 of them attached, if it does make it a little bit easier for you, you can just put a little dab of glue on each of the connecting parts. It actually makes it a lot easier to see it visually from the bottom, and plus you have complete access to this kind of ring area that's located right here. As long as the ring that holds the legs into place isn't bent, it actually should hold the legs into place. And I'm going to try to put this into view, that way you can see with the camera. We're going to kind of turn it this way. Has a very kind of unique and unusual shape, as if it's swimming through the water. I really like this model. It turned out. Actually, it's visually interesting to look at. Obviously, I don't get a chance to see an octopus every day, but when I see them, they're always an amazing creature to see. They have the little suction cups on the bottom of their tentacle arms, and they have an extremely strong beak, which we'll actually learn about today. Let's learn a little bit about octopus. There are 300 species of octopus in the world. These mollusks, same invertebrate species as snails, slugs, mussels, and octopus, are carnivores. They have 8 limbs that come off of their body. Octopus is the common name to describe all 300 of their species. The word octopoda was created in 1818, which has 2 subspecies called Inserina and Serena. As mentioned before, they are carnivores. They eat meat including fish, crabs, crayfish, shrimp, and other mollusks. They can squeeze and contort their bodies to fit in between small crevices and rocks to hide from predators. An octopus has a small 2-part beak located at the bottom in between all of its legs. All octopus have short lifespans, only living for about 6 months. Octopus can be as small as 1 inch or as long as 20 feet. Octopus can regrow a limb if it's lost. While the limbs are commonly referred as tentacles, scientifically they are referred to as arms. An octopus has 3 hearts. One pumps blood between its organs. The other 2 pump blood through its gills. The blue-ringed octopus shown here is venomous. Its venom is so strong it can be fatal to humans. Is it a good idea for this man to have it on his hand? Octopus appear to be very intelligent and are most likely some of the smartest invertebrate. Experiments have shown they can store both short and long-term memories. They can be quite difficult to keep as pets since the water must be cleaned constantly after feeding. Octopus are also very sensitive to the pH levels in water. So today we learned about the biology of octopus. Hopefully you learned a lot and had a lot of fun with doing today's model. Now they are a very kind of strange and bizarre creature, but they are actually quite interesting. If you have the opportunity to go see one in the zoo, I would definitely recommend it. I appreciate everyone's time and hard work, and I look forward to working with you in the next one. Everyone have a wonderful week. This is Mr. T, and I'll see you next time.